And we are back with the third segment of the GSMC Basketball Podcast, presented by the GSMC Sports Network. And in this third segment, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the SEC releasing its schedule and some of the dates, as well as some of the possible games of the week when talking about the SEC and basketball games. And him, what's up? He's in the chat. He says, what's good? So what's going on? Nothing much. Been, talking a lot about basketball. It's a little bit of a short day for basketball, I will say. Like, there's not really much to go on, like, in the basketball world. It's more so, like, a lot of news outlets and a lot of people are mainly focusing on football and the coming of, like, the college season, because it is starting really, really soon. It's starting this week, I believe. So, I mean, if you guys are interested in college football, we do have a college football podcast and a lot of football podcasts on the channel as well. So I recommend tuning into those whenever you get a chance to get a better understanding on why people are, so excited for college football around this time. Especially with, the conference realignments and stuff. All of those stuff I can't really explain, but I know they can pretty well. So, if you guys are interested, go ahead and tune in. But, I mean, the SEC, they recently released their dates for the full conference schedule on Tuesday. And with this, a lot of people were able, and a lot of, analysts were able to pinpoint exactly which games would be, potential game of the years for college basketball during the 2024 and 2025 season. John Calipari is obviously, the new head coach for Arkansas, and they're going to travel up to face Kentucky, his former team, on February 1st in the lone schedule matchup between the Razorbacks and the Wildcats. So, obviously, being that was Calipari's former school, there's going to be a lot of hostility in that game, and excuse me, it's really going to be a game that's going to be like circled for a lot of college basketball fans. And the way that the schedule works is that each SEC team is going to play the other 15 teams in the conference at least once, and they're going to face 3 teams a second time in a home-and-home series. 2 of those 3 teams are going to play twice each season as permanent opponents, with the other team changing every single year. So the 3 teams Kentucky is going to play twice this season are Alabama, Tennessee, and Vanderbilt. The 3 teams Arkansas is going to play twice is LSU, Missouri, and Texas. So Arkansas and Kentucky are going to feature rosters that look quite different than previous seasons. Since Calipari has arrived as the head coach, he's been able to land former Kentucky pledges in Carter Knox, Zvonimir Ivisic, again, forgive me if I botched that last name, Boogie Flan, Adu Thero, and Billy Richmond to pair with former Tennessee big man Jonas Ido and FAU star guard Janelle Davis. Excuse me. So that's sort of just, the change in the roster since Calipari has been able to arrive in Arkansas, and the impact that he has in recruiting and bringing in really talented players. So Kentucky coach Mark Pope is building a roster that features 0 returning scholarship players, and his first transfer portal commitment came from incoming freshman guard Colin Chandler, who spent the last 2 years on a Mormon mission. Chandler was Pope's highest rated signee and the number 3 overall in the entire class during his tenure in BYU. Kentucky has also been able to land high-profile commitments from BYU guard Jackson Robinson, Dayton sharpshooter Kobe Brea, West Virginia guard Kerr Krisse, San Diego State guard Lamont Butler, as well as Oklahoma guard Otega Owe. So another wrinkle of the schedule release includes Texas and Oklahoma receiving their respective conference opponents as part of an expanded SEC, and the Sooners will face Alabama on the road in its first SEC game on January 4th, while the Longhorns are planning to renew its rivalry on the road with Texas A&M on the same day. So those are some of the Those are some of the games that are in, the talks and the contentions of being in like the game of the year for college basketball. Arkansas and Kentucky has been number one on a majority of the big, like the top 5 SEC games to come for this season. So that game is going to happen on February 1st for any of you guys interested. Alabama is going to face Auburn in March 8th, 2025. That's another really popular game that most likely a lot of people are going to want to tune in. Auburn is ranked number 10th in the top 25 as of right now. And so that game could imply a lot of huge national standings, depending on where Auburn stands when the game actually starts on March 8th, 2025. And Texas and Texas A&M, obviously that was one of the popular games that I mentioned before. That game is going to happen on January 4th, and the Longhorns defeated the Aggies 60-50 at a neutral site on December 8th, 2019. That was the last matchup that those teams have had against each other. Texas leads all time in the series. It's with a 78-56 record and has won 6 of the last 7 showdowns with the Aggies. Texas A&M is also ranked number 11th in Gary Parrish's top 25 and number 1, while Texas isn't far behind at number 20 on his list. So that is going to be a pretty interesting matchup from the national standings alone. Arkansas is also going up against Tennessee on January 4th, 2025 in Knoxville. So, Tennessee, they have the home court advantage, and it's going to be pretty interesting. They're going to have to replace a player as good as Dalton Knecht, so we're going to see just how well the Tennessee is able to respond to that. And finally, Oklahoma is going to play Alabama on January 4th, 2025, and they're going to get their first taste as a new member of the SEC when they face Alabama on the road. So those are just some of the more popular games that are going to be happening. Let me know in the comments which game you're excited for the most. And with that out of the way, we can go ahead and go into the 4th segment where I talk about the first WNBA game held in TD Garden. And that happened yesterday, so I'll be right back after this short break.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.